And for more on that story, earlier today, Shireen caught up with Rahul Gangal of Roland Berger to discuss what perhaps is not allowing or what is confusing foreign investors from making the big investments in the defense sectors. What are the roadblocks? Here's that conversation.
Rahul, thanks very much for joining us on CNBC TV 18. So let's talk about truth versus hype when it comes to foreign direct investment in the defense sector. As that story was just pointing out, the numbers don't look very heartening. Do you believe that it's only a matter of time that foreign investors will start to, show up with big checks? Because clearly there is interest, but the money is not coming in just yet.
Yes, there is interest, and it shows in the form of subcontracts that are being awarded to Indian companies, whether it's for aerostructures or for electronics or for electricals. And I believe it's a matter of time before you start seeing this trickle turning into a tide for the foreign direct investment. We need to remember one thing. This is equity investment in the paid-up share capital of the company. So clearly the firms are giving much more in the form of subcontracts, which are not reflecting in this figure. So this is a marker of interest, and that's how we should look at it.
Okay. So you're saying we should look at it as a marker of interest, but given the fact that, as our story was reflecting, the Defence Acquisition Council has given its nod to 136 platforms, which amounts to about 4 lakh crore rupees since FY15. You were talking about the subcontracting opportunities. But in terms of this business of really making in India, looking at more joint ventures, we've just about started to see that happen, Boeing being the first off the block. Do you believe that we are now closer to seeing more joint ventures and these partnerships sort of taking that route forward?
Yes, we are, because if you look at the end destination of those orders, a lot of them are destined for Indian companies. And Indian companies which will be the recipients of these orders will need strong technical and technological partnerships with OEMs to be able to deliver those products. So it's only a matter of time before you start seeing more of these joint ventures coming up. Clearly, these joint ventures will be aimed at being a support mechanism to the primes, in this case, which would be Indian companies, which is a new development in the last 4 or 5 years. The policy has shifted from buying globally to make in India.
Yes, you're right. There have been several policy changes that have been announced by the government. But let's talk about the future opportunity. If you truly believe that these numbers are not indicative of a lack of enthusiasm that foreign investors have with regards to investing in the defense space in India, we've got big contracts like the single-engine fighter, the Future Infantry Combat Vehicle. We've been waiting for that announcement for a long time now. The Rafael-related contracts as well. When do you see all of this coming together?
Well, see, the FICV, the Futuristic Infantry Combat Vehicle, is really a marker of sorts on the ground. Everybody in the Indian industry, global industry, is looking at India for this contract. You're right, we've been waiting for it now for quite some time. But as we are told, it's just around the corner. And once that happens, that will signal a strong intent for activity in the land systems space. In the aerospace domain, the Rafael contract, which is now signed, is in the process of getting executed over time. And so there is a lot of activity which is happening, but a lot of it is behind the scenes in the aerospace domain.
Okay, so Rahul, from what I hear you say, you're not despondent or disappointed, even though the FDI numbers look disappointing at this point in time. You believe it's a matter of time that the story will change?
Well, if you are in this business of defense manufacturing, you can't be despondent. You have to have lots of patience. I think one thing that India has taught us is that you need to have a lot of patience, and patience is rewarded well. The Indian industry has geared up or is gearing up towards delivery of these contracts. It's also positioning itself well in the sense that it will have the competence of addressing latent needs of the Indian armed forces through homegrown solutions. Some of them will result in joint ventures, and some of that will necessitate FDI coming in. But I'm not I'm not negative on the long-term story.
Okay.
I may have question marks on the timing, but we have to be patient with the sector.
We have to be patient with this sector. Well, that's the view there coming in. Don't get disheartened by the FDI numbers. So it don't look particularly good, at least as of now. Rahul believes that that story could turn around. Rahul, appreciate you joining us here on CNBC TV 18, and thanks very much for your time.